Oh, my daughter's in the chat. Hello, welcome to Real United Talk. I'm joined tonight by Dia and Diedrich. How are we doing, boys? You all right?
Doing good.
Yeah? You enjoying the
Yeah,
weather? Lovely and hot.
All right.
Yeah. Mate, he's always hot where he is. um, right, let's get straight into it. Where is he? The video is titled "Where is Sancho?" According to these in the know people, the in the know YouTubers and stuff like that, the seven shirt is free. It's been pretty much vacant
Actually,
all week since Inter dropped it that on Monday, I think it was, that Sanchez was basically their player. It's just a matter of waiting until the Europa League tie was over to announce it. So the seven shirt has been free all week, and today is the 7th of August. So where is he? Dear, anything on Twitter? Any
nothing.
sources?
Absolutely
Huh?
nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was all over the moon. I thought that on V7 everything would be all right, but it's not the case. Absolutely, because I thought that he would come, but
Yeah.
with Man United, I think they want to have control over this transfer. They want to have the control because they don't want all this speculation, everything. They, I think he's gonna sign, but we know that Dortmund said that before 10th, I think 10th before preseason start. So, but I think he will sign, but still keeping the fans frustrated. It's quite frustrating for me.
I think it was Fantasyland that he was signing today. Too many coincidences, Diedrich, I think, for me. Um, have you heard anything? I mean, you're the one that told me he was at Terminal 7. He was there, you know. Um, it was on Twitter. He was on the airplane. So
Mhm.
where is he, mate?
That's the question of the day, isn't it? I think a lot of people maybe have jumped the gun a bit prematurely. For well, let's call it likes and views. Um, I think it's a case of it is. I do still think it's going to happen. I believe, when me and Ross did the show the other day, like I said beforehand, we were about to go into the show, and that's when it broke. I always had an inclination that this would happen because it was all going a bit too straightforward.
Yeah.
It nothing with our club is ever ever straightforward. It was never ever going to be. We're breaking our transfer record. It was never going to be a case of Monday bid gets accepted, Tuesday contracts accepted, Wednesday signed. That was never ever ever going to happen. It just goes to show that maybe take what you read with a pinch of salt. I believe that the people out there like Romano and stuff like that, I do believe they actually are credible and they actually do know what they're talking about. Because Romano actually has not once said this deal is done. He is on his way. He has said contract is agreed in the set personal terms agreed. Sorry,
5 years, yeah.
bid still not accepted. So I can live with that. It's the people out there saying this is done, it's done, it's coming, it's on his way here. I honestly did think it was going to be here. I thought it was a bit of a smoke screen the other night. We obviously, like I said, there was a picture of him, his photographer, picture of him on Instagram saying Terminal 7 with a picture of a plane. So he's fucking gone somewhere.
Was that
He's on holiday. That's where he is.
was that Photoshop?
Nobody
Yeah.
Who
fucking
knows?
There
knows
we
where.
go.
But it's
Um,
like even my dad, who's 60, rang me today. He literally said, "Why is it Man United can never seem to do a fucking deal as quick as everybody else?" He said, "In the time that we've apparently started talking to Sancho, City have gone out and signed 2 players, and we haven't even had a bid accepted for 1 player yet. So it is frustrating."
Red Devil says, "Where is Mark A?" More to the question, right? He's on about Atherton. Um, I this was a spur of the moment show, Red. So Mark usually he needs like about an hour or two's notice. So I only thought I was going to do this like literally about half an hour ago. So that's that question answered. As I understand it, from what I've read, boys, right, I'm just going to give you my take on this. Dortmund say 120 million euros, right? 108 million pounds.
Yeah.
It had to be done before the 10th of August, before they go back to pre-season training. Else, United were told, basically fuck off, go elsewhere, right? I've seen quotes that Ed has made a first offer of 60 million plus 25 million in add-ons, right?
So,
And again, Dortmund have said 108 million. That's the price. They're not budging. They are adamant on that price. United have then said they won't be bullied into buying it, and they're not afraid to go off and explore other options. So if Dortmund, I mean, basically, from what I'm reading here, United have got 48 hours now to get this deal done, right? Because obviously 10th of August is Monday. Dortmund back pre-season training Monday. I've seen pictures today of idiots looking on Google saying Jadon Sancho doesn't come under forwards, right? Well, he doesn't, because he comes under the midfield section, because I looked at it myself. And people are just escalating, making a mountain out of molehills here, right? Like you said, Diedrich, for the tweets, for the retweets, for the views, the clickbait titles, blah, blah, blah. And all these people that are speculating, because that's what they're doing on YouTube and Twitter, right? Are just they're just in it for the money, in it for the retweets, in it for the gain of followers, the gains of views, stuff like that. And I don't think Manchester United will leak out to any YouTuber or blue tick Twitter person, unless they're associated with the club, what is going on with this deal. So for me, here, common sense prevails. I don't like saying I'm right, but as I've said all last week, that's the fee. They've already stated if they don't get that fee, they won't bother selling him until next season, and they're quite happy to wait until his contract runs down. So United, it's like a game of poker. United have got to stump up that cash or fuck off. Basically, It's that simple. Pay the 108 million or go. That's it. Yeah. That's the rate. So if you're Ed Woodward now, do you look a twat after trying to play hardball and pay that money, right, and swallow your pride and pay it? Or do you stick to what he said, that they won't be bullied into buying him? What does he do?
No, absolutely. He should swallow his pride. He should go for it. There's no doubt. Where United is in a rebuild, you don't have the choice to do this. Like waiting for contract to run down, and then no, I don't think so. I saw Postco saying that we don't need Sancho. We need Harry Kane.
It's baffling. It's baffling. I don't think Red can count. I think his maths is a bit off. I'm 20 years younger, Red, right? But I did like that comment. Diedrich, what does he do, right? Because the fan base, we know, across social media, the fan base of Manchester United can be quite toxic, right?
Yeah.
Does he?
That's the fucking understatement of the year, isn't it?
Mate, that was putting it politely, wasn't it? Really. But does he now, like I said to Dia, does he swallow his pride and make himself look a twat here as a businessman and pay the money, or does he stick to his guns and say, well, look, we're not being bullied into this, we'll go elsewhere?
It depends on who he wants to look better for. It depends on whether he wants to look better for the fans or whether he wants to look better for his employers. If he wants to look better for his employers, he'll stick to his guns and he'll try and save as much possible money as he can. Because, if he can save an extra 20 million for the investors, that's an extra 20 million that goes on the bubbly at Christmas, isn't it? Or if, You know, he wants the fucking to finally actually build a bit of a bridge between himself and the fans. Maybe that's where he maybe just needs to just do what he needs to do to get that deal done. Because we've seen, obviously, I'm not condoning what happened to him or at his house and everything else like that, but we've seen how fed up fans are actually getting with the whole situation now. Like the period was just before Christmas. They were chanting in the ground about, build a bonfire, put the glazes on,
Yeah.
Obviously, anti-Glazer songs. So it really, I don't think there's any. In my opinion, he has to get the target that he's actually been asked to get by Ollie, because like we said overnight, there's only so many times you can offer him Plan B or even nothing at all. Like, I'm not being funny, right? When we went in for Haaland, you're not telling me it was Haaland, King, and Igalo. You're not telling me those were the top three strikers that fucking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted. So it makes you. I mean, I like Igalo, I really do, but it makes you wonder how far down on that list of strikers was Igalo to go from Haaland, Josh King to Igalo, even to go from fucking Haaland to Josh King. That's a pretty big steep jump. So,
I think I even read that Rondon was part of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you can think of is maybe he's after a big, strong centre forward at that time, but you can't keep having a manager asking for players saying, "I want this player, I want that player," and you're only not getting them. I'll show you 5 different examples of fucking where that. I'll show you Exhibit A, Mourinho. I'll show you fucking 9 different fucking Chelsea managers who've literally been done the exact same way. If you want a manager, you have to back them no matter what the cost. If you are gonna, that's the annoying thing here. If you are gonna enter into talks with Jadon Sancho and agree a contract, a contract in principle, agree personal terms, you must know in your head that you're prepared to pay that money. Otherwise, why would you even waste time getting into talks with him? Because then it's just going to sour the player's memory of you. Because he'll be like, if you ever do come knocking and this falls through, you're going to be thinking, well, not being funny, they fucked me around before, so what's the point? And 2, it sours your relationship with clubs. I was thinking about this the other day. You've got, look at Real Madrid and Tottenham's relationship. They've got quite a good relationship. They tend to sometimes do little deals between one another and stuff like that. I can't think of many teams that United have a friendly relationship with. Because United, what they'll tend to do is they'll leave it till the last possible minute, and it leaves the club who are selling as in a position of, well, we fucking have to take it now. They've offered us what we wanted, but we can't get anybody in to replace him now. So I think for player and all clubs involved, the quicker this is done, the better for all parties. It means Dortmund can go out and get the replacement. It means Sancho isn't waiting around and getting more fucked off, and it means we get our player.
That's a good point you bring up, actually, about the relationships that United have with other clubs. I can't think of any off the top of my head. No, I really can't. It's all because they've always tried to haggle and fuck about, and they eke out the deals as long as they can, hoping to get them on a cheaper price. Isaac Cader, welcome. Not seen you here before. Hope you enjoy. He says, just switch, maybe Rojo plus money.
For who? Sancho?
Yeah, Sancho, yeah. Do Dortmund need any players in any positions?
Well, interestingly, a lot of people have been getting a bit mixed up with the whole Depay thing, thinking that we have a sell-on clause in Depay's contract, which basically means if he goes for 100 million, we get 25% of that. That is incorrect. We have a buyback clause, which basically means if we ever want to buy him back, I think it pretty much means either we get first refusal, or say, for example, we could literally say to Leon, right, they give us a 50 million buyback clause. means that no matter if in 2 years' time he becomes a £200 million player, we can go 50 million. Thank you very much and buy him back. So I think if it's a buyback, if it's a case of we get first refusal, I think that could potentially come into our hands with the whole Dortmund deal, because they are apparently going to be have to replace Sancho with Depay. So maybe we can say, look, we won't stand in the way if you want to go for Memphis, Depay. If you put a bid in, we won't go for it, because obviously we've got first refusal. But that depends if that's in the contract.
That's a pretty interesting thing as well. I mean, dear, if the Sancho deal doesn't happen, and like Diedrich said there about the buyback clause in Memphis, would you go for that, or would you? Yeah, you would. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you boys and people in the comments. I think Memphis would actually do a job, mate, for Solskjaer.
Memphis came at Man United, I think, during a young age, even at I don't know what, actually 20.
Yeah, I think Van Gaal failed him.
Yeah, and exactly. But I think with the maturity which he has gained now at Lyon, and the way he is conducting himself and the relation he will be having with Marshall, and so when they were here, I think Marshall was here when he was the number 9 at that time. Marshall was the number 11. I think it clicks with the young. It is the same caliber of Sancho, and I think in Memphis he does fit in. If United want a player maybe to fit in the profile of Sancho, I think Memphis will be the right one.
Well, I don't know what his stats are like, Diedrich, compared to Sancho's this season, but the odd goals, I'm going to say freakish goals that I see him score, they look absolutely fucking amazing. No doubt for me, the boy's grown up in terms of his character and his attitude towards the game, which makes me think then maybe he was, like Dia was saying, too young to take that step at Manchester United. With that shirt as well. Maybe now would be the time. I mean, could you see United explore that if they don't pull off Sancho?
No, like I said, I think it'll be a case of if anything to do with Manchester United and the pair, it'll be involved in the Sancho deal. It'll be involved as in we'll fucking pull away so you can have a run at Depay so we can get Sancho. I wouldn't mind Memphis back though. I've got to be honest. I did really like him. Frustrated the fucking hell out of me. He really, really frustrated me because
he was a kid.
He was very much like Nana. Nanny. Fucking
Nanny.
Nana.
Very much like Nanny. Sorry. I was not a Nanny. My nan's been dead for 20 years. Very much like Nanny. A lot of ability. Wicked with the ball. Really good at running at players, but it was so inconsistent. It was a case of you might get one good game out of 10. Yeah. I remember the whole game when he scored 2 was it against fucking hell, who was it now? It was in a qualifier. Was it Bruges?
Bruges? I think so.
It was a Belgian team.
Bruges.
It was in the Champions League, wasn't it?
Qualifier for the Champions League, yeah. Can't quite remember. But anyway, because he scored 2 really good goals against them, and everyone was saying, "Oh, he's the next Ronaldo." And I remember thinking, let's just fucking
in behind,
let's just fucking take it slow. But I think Van Gaal didn't manage him, strangely. And it was Van Gaal was he used to call Van Gaal his fucking like his dad inside football, didn't he? He didn't manage him well. And then when we're seeing Mourinho come in, well, many a good player have been ruined by Mourinho. Let's just say that. I think he'd be able to definitely do a job for us, but I see Memphis now more as a 9 than a winger.
Well, Red says, I'm assuming that this is if Sancho doesn't happen, He says he take Coman for the wing if it means we get a better centre back. Might not get a world class centre back and Sancho together with Dortmund's price. Now that's it in terms of the money aspect. With United, with Woodward taking out that 150 million loan thing. Isaac says that Grealish can be a plan B. I can see that because, but I think that amount of money.
A like for like, are they though? I can understand the Coleman one. You've got two very quick, nippy wingers. I don't see Grealish as a winger. I see he can play there, but you wouldn't want to play Grealish out on the right all the time, would you? This is somebody that's going to come in and be a starter. I don't see as much as I do like Grealish, I don't see him as a starter.
Isaac says Frankfurt. What was that
Definitely
about? Frankfurt.
Definitely weren't Frankfurt.
No,
I'm sure we had
Red says problem with Memphis is he's another left-sided player. Can he really play on the right? I think he can. I remember the game he played. I think it was against Spurs. He was having a fucking row with. I think Kyle Walker was still there.
Kyle Walker,
yeah, on touchline. Mate, I remember that so well because that was the only bit of fight and the only bit of spirit I saw from that United team that day was him trying to rush and get the ball back and everything else. And I thought, yeah, mate, that's what United need at that time. They need a couple of players like that, a couple of aggressive, just get your fucking boot in.
That's what I think we do miss. That we do miss a few shit houses even now. Like my favourite player was Herrera. I love that guy.
Yeah, that was passion.
It was sometimes that can carry you through. You're not always going to need world class players all around you. Sometimes you need someone who's going to do the dirty work, don't you?
Herrera, mate, for me.
With spirit,
I mean, he always be remembered for spitting on that City badge. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's one of the greatest things for me in his Manchester United career. Casper says, yo. Mark says, hello, guys. Sorry I'm late. What's going on? Mark, I would have got you to come on, mate, but I know you needed a couple of hours to get ready. And I decided to do something about an hour ago. So but Red misses you. Red did say, like, where are you?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Dia, you brought this to our attention before we went live. Heath Chong, Word of Bremen.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, I think Bremen want Taif Chong on a loan. I think on a loan, but I think Taif Chong, because of time, he doesn't have time to play football Man United now because with the option we have with all players competition. So I have seen Chong played against a few minutes against for the Europa League. So I see him. He has good quality, but he needs his time. He needs to play regular, like on a regular basis. Like I don't want to end up like Angel Gomez. So I want Taif Chong to get the time to play, and I think he will be able to get into this United side. I think he needs a loan move.
Would you? I mean, he came on the other night when at left back.
Yeah, as left back.
Do you see that going forward? Do you see that as a primary position for him, or do you still see him as a left or right-sided winger?
Yeah, I see him as maybe to start him off all the 5 weeks. But I see him as a left wing forward or right wing forward because of young blood. He wants to play, he wants to be aggressive, and but he needs to calm his game a bit. But he will do well.
Yeah.
He needs to be the attack.
Okay. Yeah. Diedrich Chong, Word of Bremen links out on loan. Seen what's happened with Gomez.
What
do you think?
I think he needs it. I generally do think he needs to go out. play some first team football. I think this isn't anything against Ford. I don't particularly rate him. I don't think he's going to be anybody. I mean, I hope this one comes back to bite me on the ass. I wouldn't mind it being. I don't mind. I always said that I don't mind being proved wrong if it's in a positive way. But I just don't. I don't see anything in him that makes me think there's a player in there. It's the exact same. I said the exact same about Gomez the other day. In fact, I even had a bit of an argument with Rodney the other day because I said there's been better players come through United Youth Academy and not get nowhere near as many chances as Chong. I think Chong has had a lot of chances. Arguably, he's had more chances. Wait, in fact, not even arguably. He had more chances than Gomez.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest. I don't particularly rate either of them. I don't. I mean, I think I was saying the other day on like I said, Rodney on his Twitter. What was the point in Gomez going? He's literally left us to go to Lille for them to loan him straight out. So why couldn't he sign? If that was the case, why could he not sign the contract with us and then go out on loan? If that's what the plan was. But I think I did it with Ross the other day. Ross even said he thinks it's a case of maybe his agent were in his ear the whole time saying, I can get you moved, I can get you moved, I can get you moved. And then when he's played his fucking part, he's gone to his agent and said, get me a move. And he's like, oh, sorry, I can't get you on now. So here, go to Lille. But with Chong, it won't do him. It will do him the world of good to get out there. I think he needs to bulk up. I think he needs to get a bit bigger. But yeah, I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he does really well over there. I hope he comes back next season and he smashes it. Nothing to make me happier than to be proved wrong. But I don't see it.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, Diedrich, about you needed a couple of shithouses in a team to, I can think of many players, mate, under Sir Alex's reign, the likes of, the Darren Fletchers, the Cleversons, Parky, especially Park's son. Always played him in the big games. Always, because he was a fucking grafter, wasn't he, that lad? As small as he was, mate, he was phenomenal. He never stopped running for the club. Even as crap as he was, Jemba, he made, you stick him in there, mate. You just say to him, mate, just don't move. Just block anything that comes past you if you can.
Anderson, Raphael. I seen somebody over there say on Facebook, on Twitter, I wouldn't go for any Brazilian players because Man United and South American players. Man United don't have a very good thing with South American players. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Fucking Anderson, Raphael, Fabio. They might not have been absolute world class superstars, but they fucking did well for us. They'll be remembered a lot for better memories than fucking Tevez will and Hines will.
I mean, there's one player there. I mean, I know you're a bit younger than me, but there was one player that absolutely disappointed me on the back of a World Cup. United paid big money back in the day. Veron,
yeah, I remember
when he came in. Argentinian, he had a fantastic World Cup, I think it was, and he just, mate, I think Roy Keane's mentioned him a couple of times. He just did not fulfill. He couldn't get to that next level at United. He just couldn't do it. Whether it's because he wasn't, used to, Premier League football, the English football, maybe a bit too tough for him. Similar to, I suppose, like Di Maria in a way, didn't he? Di Maria liked the ball. Yeah. He liked to be free. Didn't like people around him tackling him and kicking him and stuff. But I think that brings into perspective how tough the Premier League is for these overseas players. They might play for the likes of Barcelona and Madrid and fucking, Atletico and the Dortmunds, the Bayerns. When you come to this league, you need a certain characteristic about you. Right, and I think that's what he's talking about, mate. If you read between the lines, you need to be tough in this league, which then is going to bring me to Sancho again, dear. Do you think he's tough enough at that age that he is to cope in the Premier League because everyone knows what he's all about, right? Look at Grealish this season, most fouled player in the Premier League, right? Do you think Sancho's going to be able to take it? Because to me, he's going to get 7 fucking barrels of shit knocked out of him in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
So, do you think he's going to be tough enough?
I think Jaden he has proved in the Bundesliga now. It's not Premier League, but I think it will depend the way how he will adapt to the Premier. But I think he has the determination to do it. Just to maybe, but in the Premier League, like we said, it's very tough to do it. But I believe he can do it with like he's an English player. He will be able to adapt. Like unlike like we said, Di Maria and Veron as well. I think he will get the mentality right. He will set everything right. It's about Man United. It's about the red blood shed. You have to run for it. You have to do it. So I think Jaden he will be able to adapt to Man United
Yeah.
in this entire Premier League. Yes.
You're right. I mean, he's got your vote, mate. Yeah. But, I mean, you think he's going to tear it up and
Yeah, he will
yeah.
step up. I think.
Okay. I've not seen this person here before. Chris McT. He says, "Hi, folks. Hi, Chris. Welcome. Hope you enjoy." Casper says Brandon Williams, Scott McTominay are both kind of shit houses. Well, that's it. There's nothing flashy about them, but they do the fucking job, don't they? That's
No,
the thing.
really.
Yeah. Max says hi. Hi, Max. Casper says Roy King said in his autobiography that Veron could never kick on even in training.
Well, it's interesting you should say that because I was kind of hoping you'd come to me on that one because my fucking gums were nearly bleeding when you were talking about Veron. If you actually read Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography, he actually says that one of the reasons why Veron didn't ever make it good in the Premier League was because he was like he said he was like a hybrid between Scholes and Keane, but it wasn't as good as either of them, if that makes any sense. It wasn't as good a tackler as Keane, and he wasn't as good with the ball as Scholes. It was like a mixture of them both. So he can never really complement either of those two he played with. And he also said a lot of the time he wanted to get involved with the ball. Do you remember our argument used to be with Rooney is he would never ever fucking stay up top. He would come searching for the ball.
Always come
that's what Sir Alex Ferguson said about Veron. He said if it was to get into the game, he said he'd constantly, if you actually listen to read his book, he says he was always looking and hunting for the ball. So when you want a game, when you want when you've got a certain game plan and it requires you to be disciplined, you can't really have one centre midfielder here and then another one just fucking going here, there, and everything. So that's one of the reasons why Ferguson said he just never, ever, ever really made it. But yeah, I thought I'd share that bit with you.
Interesting, because I mean, it was around about 35 million back in the day.
Yeah, was it from Lazio?
It was big money. Yeah, it was big money back then.
Ali G lookalike.
Red Devil says he reckons. He says yes, Marcus. I think that's the Sancho thing. He'd be tough enough to come back in because he also has a point to prove for City.
Yeah, and he's an English lad, and he's come up through grassroots, hasn't he? He'll know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, you're talking about grassroots there, Diedrich. Looking at it from an England perspective, Gareth Southgate's perspective, right? Do you think he's wanting this move to go through for the sake of Sancho's international career, or do you hoping that he stays at Dortmund?
That's a difficult one. That really good question. That one.
Because I mean, for me,
yeah,
I would think if you look at the life he's got in Dortmund, you look at how he's playing in Dortmund, you look at the stats he's got in Dortmund. I think probably Southgate, knowing that the Premier League is tough, I reckon he's probably wanting him to stay there. To be honest.
But then you go through the opposite. But then you go look at the opposite side there, haven't you? You got to look at it as in complacency is never really a good thing, and if you get too comfortable, you're not really challenging yourself. It depends. Do you want your players to be comfortable? Because he's pretty much arguably one of the best wingers in Germany, probably the best winger at Dortmund. I think he's better than Thorgan Hazard and fucking Julian Brandt and Rice. You know, who's never fit. or do you want your players constantly testing themselves up against the best and pushing to be the best? It really does. It depends what your preference. Mine would be, if I was a manager, I would always want my players to be as competitive as they possibly could. I wouldn't want any complacency. But on the other hand, you got to look at it as in less competitiveness, less injuries, means he's always fresh from an England point of view.
Yeah, because it was just because, I mean, obviously Southgate spent more time with him than what Solskjaer has.
Yeah.
So, it's maybe he could be thinking, God, I hope it don't fucking happen, because, looking at the national team next year and that for next season, I don't know, mate. English players tend to suffer a lot with injuries. Going into World Cup major tournaments and stuff. The Michael Owen knee situation, the Rooney metatarsal situation.
Beckham.
Yeah, it's so many.
Yuri Geller coming on GMTV telling us to man fucking on Beckham's talk.
Positive thoughts, dear. Positive thoughts. All right.
Ben the spoon.
Mark says Sancho, as a 13-year-old, was playing with 16-year-olds in summer camp and got the shit kicked out of him, but still dominated and was the best player, says his coach at the time. Okay. All right. That's interesting. And Casper says Greenwood, Sancho, Rashford, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, maybe Williams. Soon Brexit FC is shaping up quite well. Southgate won't hate it. Dear, Brexit FC, Manchester United have been labelled that a fair bit under Solskjaer's reign. What do you think? Do you see a pattern forming?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can you?
Yeah. Because
go on, explain yourself then, mate. Go for it. I thought he was going to say no.
Brandon William emerging. You have I think Ole is building a good. There's quite a lot of Englishmen in this side. So with especially Rashford, there is if ever Sancho will be coming, I think he will. But it is I think they will emerge with a United side. Then we see Shaw. I don't know if Shaw she fits in now in the England squad.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah, Luke Shaw. I think because Chilwell play above him, no.
Yeah, no, he doesn't tend to get in England that much. I think it is Chilwell who starts more.
I don't remember.
I think. Or are we missing something? Are we missing something glaring here? Who did normally start? England. I can't even fucking remember the last England game I watched. I'm thinking back. I'm thinking back three. I'm thinking
Chilwell.
Well, to counteract the Brexit thing, right?
I can't think so.
Mark says here, where does Bruno fit in the Brexit FC? Right. So that's a good point there, Diedrich. If United are being branded here, Brexit FC under Solskjaer's management, Bruno's coming in here. You got Sancho possibly. I don't see 108 million being part of Brexit FC. Chris says it's a myth. There is great talent, young English players at the moment, so that's why we happen to sign some of them. You look at some of the English talent that's around in the Premier League at the minute. I mean, you got some great set of lads coming through here. I mean, one of the people I think is highly underrated is Declan Rice. West Ham. I think he's a great little fucking bulldog, mate, in the midfield. I really do.
Absolutely. It's Darren Mings as well.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea got a couple of English lads, haven't they, in there? Man City, I'm going to say I've got one or two. I can't think of any Arsenal got.
Mate. Saka, Maitland-Niles,
yeah.
And Gitte, I think he's called, and is a striker.
Like, never heard of him.
And Gitte,
never heard of him.
He got sent off against. Who did they play? They played Leicester. The lad who came on and he got sent off within a couple of minutes.
Well, judging by that, he sounds like he's got great temperament. Right, so let's finish on a positive then. We've, the number 7 shirt is available. It's the 7th of August. He ain't fucking here, which I said he
What's
wouldn't
that?
be here. All right. Dear, is it? I mean, going back to what I said earlier, Dortmund say 10th of August. That's it. That's your deadline. 10th of August, Monday. Do United get it done in 2 days' time?
They will have to do it. They will
They
have
have,
to do it.
yeah,
Yeah, they have to. No question about it. They will have to
no
do it.
question. He's so positive, isn't he, Diedrich? Eh? He's great, isn't he, this one? Go on, Diedrich. Does it get done in 2 days?
Don't get it done in 2 days.
Oh,
It'll happen. It will
yeah.
happen. I think. I hope. I pray. I just don't see it in 2 days' time. I think it'll be a case of. I hope it doesn't. I hope it
So
doesn't. But I can just see this fucking being another typical United thing, where it drags on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and then by the time we do get him, none of us will give a fuck. Because we'll just be
yeah,
like, we've had it for 2 months.
Red Devils to get Dia as chief executive. He's great, isn't he? He's great. The lad's brilliant. Casper says if you remember, he didn't want to sign. He wanted to sign a Barclays Premier BPL player, but by January we were so bad we needed him as Ollie prefers English player. I think he's on about Bruno.
Fernandez.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for joining, guys. It was meant to be, a
pleasure.
light-hearted piss take on everything. So hope everyone enjoyed it. Quarterfinals Monday. We shall do a show then Sunday night and do a preview for it. See what you think if everyone's
Sunday
free,
night.
and we'll go from there. All right. So
Yeah.
thanks everyone for joining. Right, it's like Mark said. Yeah, we'll put this one up. Right. That's my type of comment.
There he is. Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and fuck off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks everyone for getting involved. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you Sunday. Cheers, you two.
So,
Fantastic
brothers.
as always. Well done, boys.